not plan on anything. Okay, so we are now doing a video, recording it, so you can come back and watch us at any time later on. So if you forget something and you have any questions and you don't feel like asking me for whatever reason, or asking anyone else, you can go ahead and pull up this video later on. So I'm going to go back. We're going to start off with the introduction. So this is just going to be a guide for anyone who's playing the game and you want to learn more about, okay, how can I make my account better? Well, there's many different ways that you can make your account better. It's a war game, so the majority of what I'm going to discuss tonight is going to be about your stats and getting up to those higher stronghold levels efficiently, quickly, and going about that different ways according to your spending habits. So then we're also going to talk about events and how to maximize your profits off of that to be able to continue funding your account with in-game currency rather than spending money, and how to make your account the best that it can be from the different events. So we're going to start off here and we're going to go into the tiers of spending. So I like to think of it as pretty much 3 tiers. You have the people who spend $1 and that's it, $1 to unlock the different items like the heroes, the master role. Then also to get like that free quest for 500 gold. Then you have the people who will spend maybe $20 a month just to be able to have enough money to get your shields going for kill event, because that's something that we're going to be talking about later on, is during kill event how to be able to best protect yourself. Yeah, shield, but not only that, but also in combat. So we can do a couple small demonstrations, especially during Firelands. Not going to go just kill anyone around here except for possibly Swag. I'll go find his account and kill that. Go kill anyone that has the name of AVG or TOB now, I guess it is, because they're the cowboy killers, because, that's really funny. Fucking idiots. Like I smoke cigarettes. Whatever. Let them do whatever the hell they want to do. So you have those tier 2 spenders who spend the $20 a month. That's mainly for the gold for kill event. And then you have the tier 1 spenders. And I guess there's 2 tiers within that. You'll have the guys who want to be able to get some of the new gear, some of the new valors, but they don't want to go so far as to going, okay, I'm going to all that, those like top leaderboard guys like myself and Yoon with Deathseeker. But they'll go ahead, they'll get the orange gear, and they'll get some warmongers, maybe a couple pieces of Deathseeker, whatever you can afford. So it's all really just based on a independent level. Excuse me. So that's all based on how much you're willing to spend on the game, and if you ever have any questions, no matter what kind of tier player you are, go ahead and ask me. I'll definitely go ahead and get more into the lower tier spenders because that's easier to brief, because it's more of a singular approach to what you want to be doing with your account. Whereas tier 1 spenders, you could go about it multiple different ways depending on how much you're looking to spend on the game. Okay, so it looks like we have some more people joining in. That's great. So I'm also going to be posting this video later online, maybe on YouTube, so everyone can get in and watch it if they want to. I'll figure that out eventually. I have no idea what I want to do with myself. So we briefed tiers of spenders. So now let's go ahead and get into how to get stuff like those resources. My resources look really weird today. You can thank him. I gave him the option of just choosing any random number for wood donation. He chose 150,000. So I opened up every single item that I had of 150,000. of wood. Turned out to be 550 million wood, and I just told him to take it all. So right now, I'm definitely not going to look like a good guy for gathering. But as you can see, I've got my buildings are pretty good levels. There's still definitely a lot of work I need to do, like siege. I don't even have T10 siege yet. Something I definitely need to work on. Definitely need to work on the fact that I still have 15 million power of troops still in the hospital. Need to work on that. They've been sitting there for 2 weeks, and they can sit there missing some limbs or whatever the hell is wrong with them, broken bones, I don't even know. But they definitely don't want to fight, so I need to be able to get some food. Obviously, the best way to get food is going to be to either do barbarian rallies. So you can do a barb rally. You'll have the barbarian keys. This is another great way for gaining Lord XP, and I'll go more into this later on. But you'll see here somewhere, hopefully somewhere. Okay, maybe not. Maybe I'm just not seeing this, but you'll get the barbarian chests. You want to go for any barb rallies that have the food printed twice. I don't know why, but I still see some people doing wood rallies. If you ever have any wood issues in life, be a ham and bug me 24/7 until I give you 250 million wood. It's not a problem. I don't know what, but I've got a lot of wood in my account. So, barbarian chests, you'll get these. It's going to be a good way to get Lord XP, some speed ups, and some other items. But more than that, if you do some barb rallies, you'll get thousands of food. And it'll be for a level 27 and higher barb rally. It's a total of 400,000 food, plus whatever. You get 27,000 food extra for yourself if it's a level 27 barb. And 30 times 1,000 food if it's level 30 barb. So the 400,000 is divided up based on how much damage is done per person in the rally. You need at least 2 people to be able to do a barb rally. If you're in an alliance that allows farms in there, this is a great tool. Go ahead, do this whenever everyone else is asleep, or just do it until no one else can do it. If you do barb rallies with your farm, you'll be guaranteeing yourself 400,000 food. I'm going to go ahead and get into troop formations later on, and I'll show you just a good formation for doing barb rallies. It's really simple if you have some good stats. The game has really made the stats insane compared to the difficulty level of barb rallies. I was able to solo do barbs when I was a Stronghold 24, and I remember when the barbs first came out before they released the Valor gemstones, I could do a full rally with my old alliance, and we couldn't even kill a level 30 barb rally. Or I think it was the highest was a 26 at that point. So it's definitely gone way over like what you could imagine is possible for stats wise in this game. But definitely barbs are a great way to be able to get your food. Another great way is once a day. If you have Lord 41, I'll go ahead and just show you this right now in the Lord for a little bit. It's in economy. If you have Lord 41, you can put your Lord XP into economy, do instant gather. This is great, so you could just send all 5 marches that you have right out, go out and get 5 level 7 food tiles, and hit instant gather once they all get there. Once they all get there, they'll all return back home. Once they do that, then you can go ahead and send all that food immediately to the food bank. You will have all the food saved up ideally. People will send food daily. You know, back in GOT, we were having members send about 500,000 to 1 million food a day, depending on what they can manage. And especially in Alliance TBD, Um, it's great because you have 100 members, and if you have 100 members sending 500,000 food a day, you could be able to do Stronghold 30 pushes in just a matter of a week. It's it's insane what we could do if we were coordinated enough and had full participation. But of course, you're gonna have people that want to do things on their own. You're gonna have people that don't want to help others but expect help in return. That's just the way of life. You can't really deal with that. In case you're wondering what this picture is, that is Swag. It's in memoriam of Swag, our fallen brother. Sadly, he is no longer playing the game on his Stronghold 30. He sold his account, if you didn't know. In case you were wondering if he passed away or if he's, what's wrong with him? Why is he in a coma? All these questions could potentially be answered later. Chances are it's not going to happen. He's probably dead. Aren't we all? So let's continue on to more gathering. Obviously, the best way to gather is not doing what I'm doing. I have one march out. I'm gathering on one singular tile. This is not good. You need to be able to have all 5 marches. I'll go in later on how to get the ability to have all 5 marches. Of course, having this VIP 8 and above activated is essential if you can afford that. It's 4,000 gold a month. And always be on as many tiles as possible. You'll have your Alliance Iron Mine or Silver Mine or whatever it is at the time. Maybe it's a good idea to diversify. If you're going for a Stronghold push and your resources look like mine for Iron and Silver right now, you want to diversify because you need to be able to get all of the resources, not just one half of the resources for Iron, and then have nothing for Silver. You also don't want to be that guy like Ambu down here saying, hey guys, I need more help. It would be, it's nice to be able to do things on your own, that sense of accomplishment, like, hey, I was able to do this. But this is why we're in Alliance. We're in Alliance to help each other. We're all here for each other. And when we get back rolling together on Steam, we'll go ahead and we'll get back with our pushes. And we can work together to grind out some levels really quickly. We all come together. Everyone donates their resources. You do that by attacking, but you want to diversify. Maybe you want to send your main march to the Iron Mine and then go find a bunch of silver tiles. So you could just go ahead, find it. I use T1 Siege when I gather. That's just personal preference. They're really cheap to train, really easy. They hold a lot of resources for their level. And if some douchebag decides to kill my troops, I don't care. It's T1 Siege. It costs nothing to heal. Obviously, I care because I still have a ton of troops in the hospital. That came from Alliance Conquest while I was in KDS 2 weeks ago. I raced a guy to a tower. I put 2 full marches in there. He sped marched me. And I managed to come out on top, I believe, killing all of his guys, but I took a significant loss. I think I lost a full march of my 2 marches, but got some good Dragon XP, and in the end of the day, that's what I'm looking for. But I'm also not looking for this problem where I have not done any barb rallies or much gathering on my own lately. So that pretty much covers gathering. Boosting, what you want to do is you need to find out who's the best candidate. Best candidate comes into what I'm going to be discussing shortly about stats. Who has the best stats that is not already up there at Stronghold 30 is who you need to push. But you can't simply forget the little guys, the guys who are the ones that are always donating to help out the big guys. You need to be able to diversify. So say you push your strongest member to Stronghold 30. You need to go all the way to 30. At this point in the game, you do no good if you have no Stronghold 30s, and you do no good if you have a weak 30. And that was one of our problems in the beginning is you might find, well, we're already starting to push this guy, but this other guy is surpassing this guy in stats, and it looks like he's going to continue on that way, or she's going to continue on that way. Maybe it's a good idea to switch your plans. Yeah, you already put so much into that person, but maybe you can come back, because the safety of the alliance is of the utmost importance. And by pushing the person with the best stats, that's what you need to do to survive in the kingdom. Now, granted, we worked really hard. Everyone on the good side of the kingdom, I should say, worked really hard, and now we have peace. We have set rules. We know what to expect, and it's not very dangerous in this kingdom. Of course, you'll have people who don't listen. They won't shield. Maybe it's a mistake. They'll own up to it, but if it's repetitive and people are making constant mistakes on not shielding during kill event or doing something that they just shouldn't, they're not supposed to be doing, it really makes it difficult in keeping your alliance alive. And I think that's what everyone wants so far in this kingdom, is just keeping the peace. We had war for so long, and everyone just wants to stop and take a break, grow, and get back and get ready to fight again, but stronger. Now, of course, I'm going to say this right now. No matter what you do, if you're not one of those top 3 guys on the leaderboards, there's pretty much nothing you can do to stop them. Like, if any single person in this Twitch or video, however you're watching it, or a Discord channel, not a single one of you guys could do anything to kill me. And the game has gone way too far astray down that path, where there's not much you could do to kill them, but there's still so many other people in the game just at the same stats as you. You only have a handful. Like, looking at the top people in power on the leaderboards, coming over to individual power, really looking at the top 5. Maybe a little further down, you got Garuzo, you've got Valak, you've got Jojo up there. You can't touch those guys. Once you get the stats, though, that's a game changer. Once you get the stats, all you have to worry about is having enough troops. Once you get enough troops, then you're just untouchable. You don't have to shield. You don't have to worry about anything. What you do have to worry about is those other top 5, 6, 7 guys up there with you who can team up on you and take you down. It'll take them a while. It's going to be costly, but where there's a will, there's a way. So that's why you need to really boost people. But going back to how I said that you need to boost your lower players, you need to be able to keep people's, morale alive. Yeah, that sense of war gave people such urgency to help out, and it was great. I was able to get Stronghold 30 and 31. We were able to get a couple other people up there. Arbor's Stronghold 30 from KOE. They got Bait up there. Firehands has been there. We were able to get Dark Wings, which is now Wildflowers. We were able to help out Black Eagle up to 30. And those are things that you need. You need those people to really protect you and get that when you're in a sense of urgency, such as war. But now that things are calmed down, no one's urgent to get more 30s. Everyone's okay with the way things are because they also understand what I just talked about with untouchables. So now you want to be able to help out yourself. You've been sitting around playing Farmville for a while trying to help out others, while those other guys were in a constant sense of war. Now you want to be able to go back to that war and for yourself, and you want to go back to being able to growing so that you could be that guy or that girl. So now it's really important to go figure out, okay, what would be best for our alliance now? So there's a ton of people who are at Stronghold 24 and 25, like West Coast Doll. She did a fantastic job helping both me and Swag and a bunch of others get our Stronghold levels. And there's you just walk around the Hive and you'll just see a ton of people who really supported you guys every step of the way, and that's fantastic. Now it's time to help them. And it's also really important to make sure that no one's left behind. Like we have Snow and Cokes here, and there's Tiff Bags. I haven't really spoken to those members, and there's Alexandra much since I've played. I've had some interaction with them, but you can't leave them behind. The kingdom has grown so much that if you're not a Stronghold 22, you're going to become irrelevant. You need T8s. At the very minimum, you need T8s. T9s are fantastic. It's a tremendous step up from T8s. And if you look at the stat difference between T9s and T10s, really, it's not that big of a difference. The biggest difference comes from that $16,000 golden option, Stronghold 35. Stronghold 35 compared to Stronghold 30 is like being a Stronghold 30 named Divine when everyone else was a Stronghold 16. Like, there's just no comparison. Yeah, I got attacked by Yoon and I was able to survive that attack. But that's because I had 3 million troops and I was fully reinforced with 5 dragons. And Yoon was only sending a very small amount of T11s. And on top of that, 2 of his marches that attacked me didn't even have a dragon. So I don't want to see what would happen to myself if I didn't have those reinforcements, if I didn't have all of those resources helping me. So let's go ahead, and I think that covers boosting pretty much. Just, you need to be able to coordinate with everyone what resources the member needs, one person at a time. You don't need people running their own boosting. You need to have it set by the leaders of the alliance. You need to be able to have a total tally of what they need, what they have, and then you need to coordinate who's going to help, what they're going to help with, and then start setting deadlines to get things rolling. Have some expectations. Say, I'm collecting at this date, at this time. Please, if you have anything, please be there online so I can collect. Now, collection is a very long process. Things that help with that would be Beast of Burden, the dragon skill. I'll go ahead and show that here. It is a guardian skill. And go ahead, and for the person that is collecting, you want to be able to put this dragon skill into your attack, level it up, maybe put some enhancements on it, but make sure to take it off later. And then also, if you're going to 30, it's going to be a good idea to go ahead and get Sir Dynadin to 3 stars to get that 33% troop load. That'll help a lot, speed up the process, and be great. And then also, if you have any resource gathering, any gathering gear, like over here, this has troop load plus 10%. Make sure that's on. Get everything set to go. Be ready. And then another thing is just making sure that you can accommodate to the people that are helping, not to the person that's collecting. It's really important to make that differentiation. If you're not someone that that's someone who was like me, where everyone saw my constant growth in the alliance of my Deathseeker, where every couple days someone would see, wow, he just forged another piece or enhanced that piece. And people are starting to get excited about that. If you don't have that, maybe it's safe to let someone else take care of the communication for you with your alliance for the boosting. That just helps make the people that will be helping you feel better about it. But another thing is, at least for TBD, is if you're not going to help anyone with boosting, that's okay, but don't expect any help in return. It's a team effort. We need to work as a team. That's really the only way we can promote helping others, is by helping others to receive help in return. Yeah, there's a ton of members, so please be patient. It might take a while for us to help you. And then another thing will be general rules about combat. So this will be our next section. So from my very first kill event in TBD, it was a nightmare. I wasn't on at the beginning, but I just came online to see the chaos right from the get-go. Holb decided to come. Yoon decided to come. Jojo decided to come. TKO decided to come. And all of TOB decided to come and shit on our parade. There were just members getting zeroed left and right. No one was shielded. There was probably a fifth of our members were shielded. And it was really disappointing to watch. Swag actually jumped on my account and he was able to go ahead and defend a couple people. But that's not something that should be happening. It's kill event. You know what to expect. We were fortunate enough to be able to make kill event only 24 hours. Looking at this board, I could change this board to whatever I want. I could say kill event rules 24/7, only if it's a TOB member. Go, have fun, kill everybody. But it's not. This kingdom is a much better place than any other kingdom I've seen with my own eyes. Last 24 hours only. Well, okay, how can I protect myself from a kill event that's 24 hours? And the answer is really simple. It's this thing right here, and it'll probably be showing up in a couple seconds, but it's a 24-hour Peace Shield. It's 1,000 gold. Now, this could be a problem for some people. If you look at my gold, I only have 3,000 gold. So, if gold is a problem, then that could be understandable. But another thing is spending that dollar. You need to spend that dollar to be able to get some gold income. And here at the vault with a one-day scheme is your best way to be able to afford a 24-hour Peace Shield. Kill event is once every other week. Once every other week means 14 days between kill events, being 24 hours. Recently, we were fortunate enough to not have any kill event, so you only have to worry about playing in Conquest or not playing any killing event at all. You only need about 9 to 10 days to make 10 days to make your 1,000 gold to afford that shield a week. And that's doing the bare minimum. There's some other great ways. You could buy the daily shipments. I stopped doing that. Daily delivery. I stopped doing this when I started spending really heavily because I just did not need 600 gold a day. It just wasn't necessary for myself, so I didn't see the need in purchasing it. So, another thing that we can go into with general kill event rules is just going to be, obviously besides the defense, with shielding is the other type of defense, and that's playing the game. So, when you're defending, it's important to know who your opponent is going to be. If your opponent is going to be any of those people that I mentioned, like me, myself, Yoon, BB, Jojo, Valak, it would be highly unwise to even attempt defending. Now, granted, those are only 5 people in the entire kingdom. So, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to brief it anyway. In order to defend yourself, you need to be able to have a high reinforcement capacity so that others can help you. If you want to start playing defense and you know that your opponents are going to have lower stats than you and you know you have enough troops to be able to defend it, that's the first step, is making that connection between, okay, my gear and my stats are better than this person. If you're not sure if your stats are better than that person, you could take a gamble. So first you could look at their stronghold level. Then you could look at their power, and then try to find them on the leaderboards. So like I'm looking here at Hem. Hem right now, he's a stronghold 26. I'm looking at his power now. On his player profile, I see a 70 million power. Okay, that's a lot of power. What could this... Now you're going to start asking yourself, where could all this come from? So you could just look, okay, he's killed almost 10 million troops. That's a good number. So now I want to go find out more information without being able to see, obviously, what his exact gear and stats would be. If you have a battle report, skip this. Go straight to making your connection. But if you don't, this would be a good way to figure it out. I'm just doing this mainly to show you what you could look at if you can make a connection on what people have, if you haven't really paid attention. But I myself, I'm a game nut on this, so I pay attention to what everyone's doing at all times. It's good asking people like this person, White, what she's up to, gear-wise, even though she sucks at this game. Sorry if she's watching. But she's apparently buying Deathseeker. Good for her. Good for her. Yeah, that's all I have to say on that. Okay, so Hem, he's got Dragon level 42, 48 million power. So, obviously you can see his rank, you can see your rank at the bottom. If you have a rank, if you don't have a rank and you see that he's rank 37, probably not a good idea to go with the attack. That's going to be the first step. Now, level 42, okay, you can start thinking about this. This guy's done some either purchasing, he's done a lot of killing, 10 million troops. Okay, yeah, I can see a connection between Dragon level 42 and that level. So maybe there wasn't too much money spent on Dragon power packs. So now let me think, okay, what can a Dragon level 42 give you? Now, if you scroll up and you want to look at some other big guys, you can see, well, our top tier players up here, they're really not that far off level wise. So he's got a really strong dragon. That's something you want to look out for. Now, going back into the leaderboards, let's go ahead and let's look for Hem in Lord level. If you have Lord 41 or higher, as I discussed before, you want to be a little weary of that, because that means that they're going to have Life Preserver. So when you have Life Preserver, you're going to take larger risks. Let's see if my game wants to work and let me scroll. It doesn't look like it wants to scroll right now. There it goes. So a lot of players have been able to achieve that ranking. You want to be able to do this through the barb rallies, as I said. I'll go more into Lord level later on. But we're just scrolling down, just trying to find him. If I pass him, great. And you just, take a look to see where they're at. Okay, he's got level 41. Okay, so that means he's ready for combat. You could tell from those two things that Hem knows what he's doing with combat. So my guess is if he's not one of those big players, and you know who the big players are, it's really easy to find out who the big players are. Now, if Hem didn't have that kill event, name, like when Swag played Hem's account and just massacred the entire kingdom, if he didn't have that associated with himself, I wouldn't think of him as a large player just simply because he's not someone like myself or Arvard who is the face of combat for an alliance. So, looking at Hem, I would say, okay, this guy's probably got some orange gear, maybe he has some purple gear, maybe he even has a little bit of Warmonger, and then it's safe to assume at this point in the game he has Valors. Does he have full Valors? Maybe not. Full Valors is tremendous stat boost, so it's very possible that he doesn't have it because he's only sitting at 10 million kills. So if you got Valors, huge investment. It's gotten a lot cheaper now, but you definitely want to try it out. And so this would be a good indication that Hem probably has oranges and purples and some Valors. And I'll tell you right now that that's an accurate statement. So it's very important to be able to take a look and figure out if your opponents that you want to face are going to be a good opponent to face on defense first prior to making any rash decisions and possibly getting yourself killed. And just remember that those high-powered players like myself or you could show up at any time and they can speed march you. So just be really cognizant of that. You might want to wait out your bubble before you start doing anything, risky. So just your bubble cooldown if you want to break it. And just, take as few risks as possible in the game. So it's important to hold on to your power, and by being able to take care of your account, you'll be able to grow quicker. So that's important. So for defense, now that I took way too long on just describing on how to do that, let's go into the actual defense part. So I'll go in and I'll show you how to set up your stats, and everyone knows you want to be combat ready. You're going to want to be ready. You're going to want to make sure that you have good numbers of infantry. You have a healthy amount of cav and bowmen. And those are going to be what's protecting you. You're going to want to take in some strong allies to reinforce you. You want to be able to put on anti-scout so that people can't find out that you're fully reinforced, and just let them walk into a death trap. Also good to have traps. Make sure that whoever is reinforcing you is sending their dragon and a good combat march. A combat march of their highest tier troops. Because since you're at home, you know that you have that spread. We're going to go into that spread, and that spread is just having a good, healthy amount of your highest tier, a good amount of your next lower tier, and just keep going down the line all the way down to maybe T2s, T3s. So since you have that spread in your account already, you don't need that spread from the combat march that's reinforcing you. So I'm reinforcing Arbor right now. I'm doing that because I want to protect this relic. So if anyone wants to... I'm actually not reinforcing him. Good to know. Good to know. That will change very soon. So actually, let's change it very soon, and I'll change it now, and I'll show you guys what I'm talking about with this. So it's going to be a minute to recall our troops. So I'm just going to talk more while this happens. So you want to be able to send you want to have whoever's reinforcing you send their dragon and their best combat march of their highest tiers. You want to be able to have a good spread of how much infantry, how much cav, and how much bowmen they're sending you. And how to justify how much is based on what you currently have in your city. So I'll go in and I will show you what troops I have. I've got pretty even amount of troops. I like to train my troops in even amounts. But obviously, since a lot of troops are wounded right now, you'll see weird things like this. You'll see, why is that not 775,000 for T10 infantry? You'll see cav, they're a little lower. And, that's just because I haven't finished healing. So, if you don't have, like, an even amount, so, like, let's go based off of my T8s. So, looking at my T8s, okay, well, I don't even have any T8 bowmen. So let's just say that my T9 bowmen are my T8s for how I'm justifying this, and I'm only looking at the T8s. So I see, okay, I'm really low on infantry, and I am a good, healthy number on cav, but I'm really, really healthy on bowmen. So when I'm asking for reinforcements, I want to make it clear that I'm really, really low on my infantry, and I want my reinforcements to be able to send me heavy bowmen, heavy infantry, and then send me cav, and do not send me much bowmen at all. So many bowmen, that could be 10, that could be 20,000. It all depends on the march capacity of the person that's reinforcing you. It's also really important to be able to get your embassy levels up so that you could get more troops in there. Another great tool for increasing your reinforcement capacity is a 2-star, I believe it's a 3-star Maligan. 3-star Maligan will give you an extra 99,000 reinforcement capacity. So I don't know what Arbor has as far as a spread of troops, but this is me, and I'm in a different category than who I'm pretty much making this video to. So when I'm sending this march, I'm going to be sending it based off of what I know I could do to best protect Arbord. So I know Arbord has plenty of T9s. He doesn't need that. What he needs is he needs some real protection. So I'm going to go heavy on the infantry, heavy on the cav, and maybe a little lighter on the bowmen, because I need to be able to keep my troops and his troops alive. So you don't want to go too light on the bowmen. I don't want to go too light on the bowmen, but I want to go heavy on that infantry and cav, just like in that last scenario I said. So you want to be able to protect them. Now, obviously, it's not nice and neat numbers, but infantry and cav are pretty much equal, and then I've got a good, healthy amount of bowmen. So I could go ahead and I could send this, but I'm actually going to do something pretty smart. I'm going to turn on my Colossal March. So the only way to increase your march capacity is to increase your base march capacity for a reinforcement. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to have to make this march again. So we're going heavy on the infantry, heavy on the cav, and a good healthy number on the bowmen. I'm going to march this at him. So you could increase your march capacity to reinforce others using the Colossal March talent, as well as going to your march capacity on the Colossal March capacities. Those would be a great tool if you want to ever execute Order 66. The plan has been in works, but we no longer need to do that. And if everyone's a good viewer, we could go into that later. So, furthermore, with going through with this is we need to be able to figure out what we want to do for our defense. You want to make sure that you have everyone's dragon that is reinforcing you, and you want to make sure that their dragon is set up for defense and it's nice and healthy. So you'll go in there and you'll just check them. You'll make sure that whoever is reinforcing you, that they check their stats. Make sure they're boosting. Make sure they're wearing a dragon blade. Well, they only need a battle blade. If you're going out and sending marches, like kind of entice people, and you're sending your dragon thinking, hey, maybe this guy's not thinking, make sure you're wearing a dragon blade. It's a little more expensive. It'll save your butt. I guarantee it. Except I don't guarantee it in case the unit shows up. Just saying. So yeah, that pretty much takes care of defense. And now let's go in and let's talk about going out and attacking someone. So if I want to attack someone, let's go ahead and show you how this would look. We could just find any account out here, and you want to scout them. So it's really important, every time you want to attack someone, get a scout report on them first. If they're wearing anti-scout, which a smart person would, what you want to do from there is you want to set a rally on them. So if you can't get a scout report, set a rally on them. Just do like one troop. You're going to cancel it really quickly. But obviously if they were in an alliance, this could tell you there would be little boxes like how you would see when people join your rally. You could see little boxes of who is reinforcing them, if anyone, so you don't walk into a trap. So if they're wearing anti-scout, it's a good way to figure out, okay, this person is trying to trap me into attacking them.
I'm always trying to trap people.
And that's fantastic. That's exactly what you should do. So let's go ahead and let's review our scout report.
Hey, Cap, are you enrolling for the next round of Firelands?
When does it start?
2 minutes.
Yeah, I'm not going to be ready for that. Still going to be doing this.
Alright.
We'll do the next round, so if you can send out an all-mail saying that, we'll enroll for the following round.
Okay.
Starting at 10 o'clock?
Okay.
Alright, cool.
I might go this round just to fuck around.
Alright, cool. So,
Cool beans.
attacking them, you see here they have an amazing amount of troops at 0. They've got an amazing amount of reinforcements at 0, and then you'll see their traps. You don't want to neglect any of this. You'll also be able to see what kind of equipment they're wearing, what kind of research they have, what kind of lore talents they have, and you'll be able to gather a good amount of information on them. You won't be able to find out what kind of gems they have, so that's always something to be cognizant of. If you think they have some valors, like how we discussed with Hem's account, where we gathered, okay, maybe this guy spent some money, maybe he has some valors, maybe he has some good gear. You'll be able to see the good gear in a good scout report. And if you start seeing, some evidence that someone has a warmonger, like you could see if they have one of the cheaper pieces of warmonger that are really good, like the warmonger ring. So you'll see that they have some wounded conversion in their equipment. That's a sign that they have warmonger. That's a sign that they could possibly, in fact, have some valors, and you won't be able to see that information from a scout report. But you'll be able to, compare your stats to what they have. It's not as good of a stats, comparison as a battle report is. But it's also really important not to forget that people do have traps. If someone has a good amount of traps, I would say anywhere above 5,000, honestly, send siege. If you're attacking and you see someone has reinforcements, but it looks like a number and no one listed underneath, maybe that means that your watchtower is too low of a level to be able to figure out that information. So ask one of your stronger allies to be able to scout that person so that you could see exactly who is reinforcing them, see a breakdown of their troop tiers, and be able to make a good decision. Okay, I'm going to go attack this person because I know I could have better stats than both these guys combined, so I'm going to go shit on their salad. Or if you're going to say, look, I see Yoon, I'm just going to go call it a day, I'll just, count the sheep as they fly by. And that's really what this game has come down to, really. You can either do it or you can't. So you want to go ahead, you decided you want to attack them, so let's go ahead and you want to start setting up your combat march. Now, I'm not getting into troop formations yet, so I'm just going to say, based on our information, select troop formation 1. For me, troop formation 1 is combat march. It's pretty similar to what I was doing before. We have our infantry, our cav, our bowmen, and then we have some damage takers. Now, granted, I would have more T8 infantry in this march. However, they're all in the hospital. RIP those guys. So I can't use them for the sake of this video. But I myself, I do T10 heavy. And I'm going to go heavy in the damage takers, the infantry and the cav. I know my bowmen have amazing stats. I know my bowmen can kill. So I'm not worrying about their ability. I'm not worrying about sending a ton of them. You'll actually see I have more here, but I'm actually going to be changing my troop formations with you guys to look something more like this. I'm going to go heavier in the infantry, heavier in the cav, because I know, yes, my infantry and cav have better stats than my bowmen, but as long as I keep my bowmen alive by keeping my infantry alive and my cav alive, I know I'll be able to destroy any march that comes at me. And if I keep my T10s alive, by sending a healthy amount of T9s in both sections, I'll know I'll be okay. So you could go ahead, you could march them. Once you're done marching them, you can also see, okay, well, here's my troop power, 20.5 mil, and it drops when I do this march because I'm adding some T9s. So be cognizant that your troop power might decrease, but that's not always a bad thing because you want to keep your troops alive. That's the most important. You're going to have losses either way if you send all T10s or if you send all T9s or if you send T10s and T9s. Whatever, however you're broken up. Obviously not everyone has T10s or T9s. But the thing is, your T9s are cheaper to heal and to train than your T10s. Also, if you have that Lord 41 that we're going to be going into right here, turn on Life Reserve if you're going after a high value target. It's only 30 minutes, so use it wisely. If you come up across another like a higher value target, but you're a little worried that you're going to kill them, and you already burned your Life Reserver, maybe it's a good idea not to attack them. But another thing to be aware of is a lot of times you're going to turn on Life Preserver and you're going to think you can kill anyone in the game. And you're just sadly mistaken. It might make you feel a little bit too comfortable. Because 30% of a higher wounded conversion simply isn't enough to keep all of your troops alive. And you'll still end up with a high amount of deaths and a high amount of wounded if things go wrong. So go back to how we talked about with Hem's account and deciding what's the best option for you as far as, gathering if it's a good idea to attack a person or not. So I'm just going to take a little break here in between before we start going into our stats and some events. I'm just going to add a couple people into the Discord channel. Looks like they're trying to join. Alright, down south, welcome. So, yeah. If anyone has any questions, please message me in game if you can. I'm not really checking um, the Twitch chat. I can check it now and see if anyone said anything in there. But if you have any questions that you want me to discuss other than just stats, like I could go into making a gold profit. You know, if you want to know things about that, I can go into that for you. Okay, so just gonna check to see. All right, Firelands in 1 hour. Cat will be hosting, and he misspelled my Twitch name. That's okay. That's cool. It's fine. I'm just mad. I'm not mad. I'm actually just disappointed, honestly. Good job, Ambu. If you're out there somewhere, remember that. But I'm gonna go ahead and message Ramathorn as he asked me to let him know when we would be doing our Firelands, and then I'll get back with it. Okay, so if you guys want to go ahead and sign up for Firelands now, I'll do it in an hour. Probably after we finish. If we don't finish, I'll continue the discussion during Firelands, and I will continue the stream in Firelands so everyone can watch. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's start talking about our events and how to make the most out of the events. So Firelands, I'll brief that more when we get to that because we'll be doing that together and you guys can watch how I do it. Now, I myself, I don't really need the rewards as much as other members do because if you get in the top 50, you'll get a free Valor. Yeah, one free Valor gemstone chest. Or if you're going for those Death Seekers, you get 10 fragments. So you need 100 fragments for a Death Seeker scroll. You get any scroll that you want, and then you have to pay an absurd amount of regular materials. And then 4 of the special materials that you can't get anywhere as drops in the game, and it costs 100,000 gold to get it. You can also get hero fragments or advanced skill fragments. I do not recommend getting those if unless you already have full Death Seeker and full Valor 6s, not just 5, 6s. And your dragon is a high enough level, which no one in our kingdom has a high enough level dragon. And as far as heroes, I don't think Lionel is the best hero to use. Unless you know, Firelands, if they're going to keep Firelands around for a long time, and you want to go for Lionel, that freeway, by just gaining those fragments, then yeah, you could do that. But I'm just going to put it out there right now that if you don't have the Valors, that's your first choice to go for. Valors are an amazing stat bonus. Even more so than Death Seeker, in my opinion. go full Valor 5s before you start going for Death Seeker. The stat increase for the capita cost of Valor 6s compared to Death Seeker, maybe not so much. So, well, let me say that again. Valor 6s are going to be significantly cheaper than getting Death Seeker. Death Seeker is just an absurd cost. So might want to take that argument back in that sense. But if you're going there, it's going to be a high cost either way that you do it. If you're going Valor 6s or if you're going for the Death Seeker. So with that regard, I'm going to move on and let's start discussing another great event, and that is the lovely gold event. So, gold event happens, once every other week. It's a week-long event, and it's a great way to get free gold. So this free gold that you're getting is going to be great if you're one of those low-tier spenders and you want to be able to afford your shields come time for kill event. I don't know what the hell that is. I just want to type in Vine. I don't even want to do that. Maybe that's why. So, well, this is cool. So yeah, you don't want to. I'm sorry, just lost my train of thought. Yeah, if you're one of those low tier spenders and you want free gold for those shields for kill event, it'll be a great idea to go ahead and get that free gold through the gold event in the coming days, prior to gold event, and that'll be another small but good source of free gold that you could get in game. Currently, we're in the kill stage. Another great way to get free gold. That alone, 1,310 gold. That might just be what I'm seeing, but I think it's the same all around. I know your points change as your level goes higher in order to obtain that third tier, but it's a good amount of gold. And so if you want to go out and you want to get some early kills and then shield for the rest of the kill event, this kill event, that 5th stage can pay for your shield alone. Not to mention if you're staying on top of your vault and doing any other small things like the events, and you have the daily chests like that your alliance sends out, and that's another great way. And a week or two of doing this, opening up all these chests, is a great way to be able to get the gold for your shield. So just another way to not have to spend money in the game, but yet still be able to afford everything that you need to do. So that's gold event. I mean, you guys know how to play the game in order to do everything else. If you're going to be doing any, like the construction upgrade stage, make sure you're at least wearing some of the construction gear. There's the blue, there's the purple, there's the orange. Strongly recommend the purple. It's $20. Greatly reduce the cost of any upgrades. If you're going to be wanting to go to 30, you need the orange. It makes everyone's life easier, especially if you're getting boosted. But if you're doing it on your own time and your own dime, and you don't want to spend $100 for the orange and go to 30, by all means, get the purples and go with it. But if you're going to be in TBD, you need the orange gear if you want other people to boost you up to Stronghold 30. It just really makes everyone's life a lot easier. So I strongly recommend going orange if you can afford it. As far as the research gems, even in the level 3s, which are the $100 ones, I don't see as much of a, decrease in cost of research as I do with the construction gear. However, once you get up, I'm gonna say this right now, if you're either gonna be going Deathseeker and Valor, that route, don't worry until you're finished with level 6 Valors and full Deathseeker +1 or +5 if you're going down that route. If you're going down the route of the freer, like the lower tier spending, and you're going for the purples or the oranges and maybe some warmongers if you want to do that, and some Valors, and you just want to compete with people of that tier, because there's different tiers of the players. Just like with your spending level, that's going to be pretty much who you can compete with. If you're going to be going down that route, then eventually, yes, you want to catch up on your research. You don't want to get too far behind. I believe you need a University 26 to unlock the Combat 2, but I'll go more into that later on. But what I'm trying to get out of this is research is a good way to get a lot of power out of some upgrades. So you could be able to use your 2 builders on some high level power buildings as well as running research at the same time. Using your construction, using your research gear, you could be able to get things done pretty easily. So it's a great thing to do to get your free gold. So I strongly recommend it. As far as KVK, now Kingdom versus Kingdom, it's something that we've always done in TOB and AVG, just because they have a low member count, and I mean the combat research for each alliance is pretty much the same all across the board. At this point, everyone is. I mean, you start off and if you know what you're doing with your alliance, you focus on the combat first, and then you go from there. But pretty much the kingdom has grown enough where all the kingdoms have really good combat research, but those are just small percentages compared to what you get out of Deathseeker and Valors and everything else in the game. So with this, if you're one of those lower levels but you have some good gear like purples and some Valors, and you're like at 26, I think we'll take you. Obviously it's not my event. I am the king, but I don't really run the show. So they'll take anyone that wants to help out. Just it's a very long event. I think the last event took about 24 hours or so, maybe a little less, maybe like 18 hours. It was a full day. You just come online when you can. You know, if you're going to be like someone like me, and you know you're crucial to being able to get the objectives completed, and you want to hold a throne or a tower, then you kind of need to be there to be in the tower. Now, what we have to do is you can either send like one troop to the tower and like one cav just to hold it and hope that no one attacks it. But so there's always going to be people that mess with you and they constantly scout you and they constantly attack you, and it's just really goddamn annoying. But you know what you want to do is you want to be able to fill up with a high rally cap, completely fill up the tower. No one's going to march you if you have 1 million troops unless they're fucking insane, like stats and troop wise, and they have a bunch of members who can get on you and beat you. It's going to be bloody if that happens. I really hope it doesn't happen. But you know, it's not really required to be able to hold a tower or a throne. You can go in and you can reinforce the bigs. Chances are they're not going to be attacked, so you don't really need to worry about that too much. You just go in, you show your face. It's good. Spend time with terrible people over at TOB. It's a lot of terrible fun. It's terrible, honestly. But yeah. I mean, we're holding the throne for the first time in the entire game. Like, the power is in the hands of, I mean, I don't even know what to call us. It's like it's the TBD family, honestly. And just anyone who's on the TBD board is winning right now. You know, we finally accomplished all of our goals, and that's great. I'm really happy for all of us. Um, it's honestly why I spent an absurd amount of money on this stupid video game. Um, looks like down south can't hear me. Well, let me try to fix this. Down south, if you can hear me on the Twitch, try to join back the channel again. So, okay. Moving forward with KVK, if you no, I think they're looking for Stronghold 26s and above to help out. So if you can do that, that'd be fantastic. We already do have a lot of support. Not a whole lot of support from TBD itself, and I'd like to change that. I want to be able to have more of a participation from it. I know they're our sworn enemy, but it looks good. While you're helping the enemy, it just looks good. It shows that you're willing to work for the kingdom rather than just your ego, and that's really important. That's how we were able to achieve this peace. Um, so I think it's really important that we show up and we help out. Moving forward to Kingdom Threat. Now this alone is the best way to get Lord experience. Now with this, you want to have a very equalized march. You almost want to hit equalized. You want to have very few infantry, a lot of cav, a lot of bowmen, some siege of every single tier. Now, I'm sure you're all looking on this board and you're like, wow, who is that douchebag? Who is Balzatan? I don't know. Why do you post your stats as your profile picture? Please, someone kill this kid. What a noob. What a noob. That's all I have to say about him. Okay. So, yeah. Kingdom Threat, pretty much hit equalize. You want to port over there. Those things die quickly. I don't know why I never go online anymore to do it. It's such a great way to get Lord XP. Rather than having to spend money. I get 7 million Lord XP a week doing it, if I do it. And it's just an insane amount. Granted, not everyone's going to get it, but with Kingdom Threat, what you want to do is you want to be able to put your dragon fully into monster skills. So I will definitely go into that when we go over the dragon, but definitely do monster skills, do your attack stats, do a march capacity boost, get a relic, get the command the march capacity relic, and the battle blade. So you want to send your march while wearing the Crown of Command first, which is your march capacity boost. Also put your talent for Colossal March on. So you just want to be fully buffed up, ready to go. Once you send your march using Crown of Command, switch to your Battle Blade and let the march attack and just repeat. So moving forward, that is Kingdom Threat. Another amazing event is Fallen Knights. We've done that a lot. Just if you need to boost your defense, boost your attack, reinforce others if you can. Yeah,
Okay, cool. I got it kind of figured somewhat out.
perfect. Love it.
Yeah, it's hard to do one drunk.
Hey, you're absolutely right.
Okay.
So, with the Fallen Knights, if you can reinforce others, that's fantastic. Try to reinforce others who are like dead accounts, farms, someone that is not going to be able to survive to level 20. You want to be able to do it on the hardest difficulty, level 20 if you can. You have the rallies at 7, 17, and I believe there's one more, like 14 or so. So you want to be able to help others during that if you can. I mean, if it's a 2-hour event, so if you're going to be online for the entire 2 hours, it's a great way to go ahead and steal some extra points for the alliance, so you get a higher ranking, get better rewards. Hold on a second.
I think the rallies are 16.
Have you got any balls of water in here? Okay. Did you? I think I'm getting the same thing Ashi's had. So, did you eat the food from Sodexo? I should be okay.
What food?
From Sodexo.
When?
In the last few days.
Today?
Or yesterday.
I mean, yeah.
Meat?
Yeah.
Did you feel fine?
Yeah. Well, I had the chicken.
No, I mean like.
The buffet.
No.
Okay.
Not yesterday.
All right. Thanks.
Do you need Gatorade or anything?
I think I've got plenty in here.
Alright, you could have some of my soup if you wanted.
What?
You could have my soup if you wanted.
I don't know. I'm gonna hope I don't.
And I'm crackers. I ate some. Thanks for the crackers. I'm
Problem.
We'll see what happens.
Alright, cool. Sorry about all that. All of my roommates got food poisoning from the terrible food my school decides to serve us, which is just terrible food in general. Inedible, undercooked, not even cooked. Green rice, like I've never seen green rice that's green before in my entire life. Food that food that you expect from like a middle school, but worse. So I apologize for that. Just trying to help them out.
Is my background noise too loud?
If you want, you can just mute yourself and then just talk whenever you want. Like unmute yourself whenever you want to talk.
Gotcha.
So going back to Fallen Knights, you have the rally rounds. If you can get on and help out others during those rally rounds, that's great. But I think with the stat increases that we've seen over the growth of our kingdom in the game, that it's really not necessary to help out grown accounts during rallies. So more than that, it's just getting a high level player with a high level Hall of War into the the fortress first as possible. And I'm talking like at least Hall of War 26. If you're not a Hall of War 26, what are you doing being the first person setting the rally cap? You're putting a detriment to everyone else's game. You really don't need many people in the throne that are extremely high level at this point in the game. You can let anyone join the throne. But the fortress, my bad. So I don't see the point in hogging the points for a couple players unless they're they made it very clear that they're like trying to go for like a top 10 rank for individual rewards, because that will give them more rewards so that they could grow even more. But at this point in the game, you should let other players get into the fortress as well, and setting a high rally cap will just allow more people to be able to have fun and enjoy that feature of the game. Portal, pretty much the same thing as Kingdom Threat. You want to have like a, honestly, no. Screw that. Portal, I have zero answers on anything. No matter what you do differently, you get, no matter how many times you do it, if you do it the same as every single time you do Portal, like the same march, you'll get different amounts of points. And that's also, if you have one person join, you'll get a lot more rewards than if you have 5 people join your rally. It makes no sense to me whatsoever. I don't get it. You want your monster dragon skills in and set up like a pretty balanced march. Send everything. Infantry, cav, bowmen, lots of cav, and some siege for some good points. Again, high rally cap should be rally leaders, and those should be the people that are sitting around your portal. Dragon Spirit Arena. I mean, this is pretty simple. You have your Dragon Spirit. If you want a good PvP setup, then you're going to want to be doing a mage. And that's what I do. I have a mage setup, but I also have an offset mage. So I have one piece that is a knight setup, and I could go more into that. I don't really think that I would have the breath to say all this, everything tonight. I mean, there's just so much to talk about in this game, which really makes the game fun. I'm not great in anything that has to do with the Dragon Spirit. I was thinking about spending money into it, but I really did not see the personal benefit. But I have been seeing a movement quite lately of a lot of players trying to go for those higher rounds, and I think that's great. I messaged the developers a while ago saying, hey, I really think we should put in a Dragon Spirit leaderboard for the kingdom so people could see who has the best Dragon Spirit. We kind of have that with the Labyrinth, but that's only for the top 3. I was thinking, all the way down to the top 100. Spirit Arena, amazing rewards. This is what is the value in doing a good Dragon Spirit. You do Spirit Arena, and you could get some really good rewards. Pretty much, do your 5 free battles. If you're if you really go for it, you could go and spend. I would spend the gold, because your gold that you'll be making from your score rewards as well as the standing rewards would be really well worth going ahead and getting all of that. You can see, wow, Cap, you honestly suck at this. Yeah, I only did 7 battles. I lost interest in that aspect of the game, really. Now, let's start going into troop formations. I don't want to go into Conquest. Don't get me started on that event. They have some great rewards for individuals. But besides individual rewards, like the Dragon Essence, I like the Dragon Essence. I don't like spending 400,000 gold in 2 days and still managing for my alliance to end up 5th place or 3rd place, because personally I hold back the alliance, honestly, because I'm giving the alliance harder opponents, and those are opponents that I can't even face myself because they're equal to me. And those are people that, again, are untouchable. I can't take them on, they can't take me on. And it really makes the game unfair to my members, because my members will then have to take them on, and they can't touch them, and they can't even defend against them. So everyone's getting zeroed. They're giving all their points to the opponents, and they're not shielding. I've said it like a million times to the TBD members, and yet still, no one shields. It's only a very small portion of members who shield, and it's really disappointing. But more than that, I'm just disappointed myself for doing it because I'm putting myself and my members against really hard opponents, and it's really unfair. And I feel like it devalues the fun that the other members are having as compared to what you would have in Kill Event, where you could go to a different alliance and face different opponents and different levels of opponents to better suit the needs of your members. And also resources and Dragon XP. So, you'll see here I'm sitting in the Trap Factory. This will be the beginning of troop formations, and then we'll go into stats. So, there's different types of traps. So, let's go to this Tier 4 Ballistic Towers. You'll see that this is targeting bowmen. Then the Frisian Horses, it's kind of in the name, but you'll see here it's for calves. And then you'll see here hot sand is for infantry. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little distracted with this banner. Alright, never mind. It's not important. So you'll see that there's infantry traps. So with this, you want to have a good balance between the three. You have a set trap capacity. Mine's 153,000. Conquest has obliterated all of my traps, so don't mind me. But between your highest tiers that you can. So for me, I can only do longbow towers for my bowmen as my best currently. But have a good mix between the bowmen, the infantry, and the cavalry traps. That's pretty much it. Do them equal. Now let's go into the troop formations. So troop formations, and then also having a spread of troops. You'll see I don't really have a good spread of troops. Again, all my troops are in the hospital. Bowmen, I don't really see a need to spread my bowmen because, first of all, I have 745,000 bowmen of T10s alone, not to mention 170,000 T9s, plus I have 50,000 T10 bowmen in the hospital still, and it's the last line of defense. So imagine your troops. I'm going to just repeat a video I saw on YouTube for troop formations. Imagine your troops sitting on a battlefield, standing on a battlefield. You're going to have your infantry first, then your cavalry, and then your bowmen. And then some siege. Some siege is all the way up front. I'm not too sure on the difference between who's up front and who's behind, because in each tier of like bowmen, you'll have some bowmen in front of other bowmen. Same with calves, same with infantry. I'm probably not the guy to ask on that. That's information I can find out for you guys. But as far as this goes, you want to be able to not only plan for your defense, but also plan for your attacking. So it's a good idea to get a good spread. You're going to want troops that are lower tier to soak the damage and be cheaper. And then you're going to want troops that are you're going to want both. Troops that are going to stand in front and be weaker, and you're going to want the troops that stand behind and they're strong. But then you also want the weak ones with the strong ones in the back, and you want the weak ones with the strong ones in the front for every type of tier. If that's not making too much sense, pretty much just think of it this way. Start off with your highest tier and train, figure out what your goal is for troops, like troop quantity, and train that amount. Go down a tier, set up how much you want, it's maybe a little less, train that amount. Go down a little further, T8s, train X amount, T7s, T6s, T5s, T4s, T3s, and train those troops. Now, I believe T7s stand behind T8s. So I'm not positive again, but you want to have a good mix of all of your troops, and you want to be able to have a mix of the weaker tiers that stand in front and the weaker tiers that stand behind, as well as the stronger of both. Do that all the way around, and that's for defense. Now, as far as troop formations go, you're going to want a small mix of your troops that are going to be infantry, your cav, your bowmen, and just like your damage takers. So with this, let's go ahead and let's just get rid of everything on my troop formation, and we'll just pretty much start it from scratch. So I like to make a troop formation that is for combat without traps, a troop formation that is combat with traps, and then something that I'm going to be doing with like a portal and kingdom threat. That kind of troop formation, that's going to be pretty much an equalize. So starting off the bat, now obviously your numbers are going to be different because everyone has a different march capacity. So it really depends on what your march capacity is. Now if you're wondering how to increase your march capacity, it can be done in numerous ways. First of all, of course, march capacity boosts, the talent, war in your lord level. You can increase your march capacity with research, your stronghold level, and your dragon skill, and the dragon intensity crystal on that skill, as well as a 4-star Lady Isabel. So there's a ton of different ways to increase your dragon level, your march capacity, my bad. So what I'm going to do is I know I need a large amount of infantry and a large amount of cavalry to soak the damage because they're going to be protecting the true damage dealers, which are my bowmen. Now I can have 94,000 bowmen, but what's the point of having 94,000 bowmen when I could have weaker infantry and cavalry that can soak damage, and they'll take the losses first before my T10s so that I can keep my more expensive troops alive in combat longer. So I'm just pretty much rough estimating, I want a good fraction of my T10s. I have 70,000 T10 infantry, and I'll say, 17,500 T9 infantry sounds like a good number. Just like a smaller fraction. Now with Cav, they're standing behind the infantry, so you really don't need that much, cavalry as you do with infantry. And then, granted, I only have 3 T8 infantry, so don't mind that. Then we'll go in and we'll add a couple more 1,000 T8 cav, and then once I heal my T8 infantry, I'd probably finish off the rest of the 1,000 with my infantry. But for right now, I'll just go ahead and put that back into my T10 bowman. So that would be just like my first march. Yes, you could go down further into the other tiers, but as for myself, I really don't see the need. But it's actually I'm going to go ahead and do it right now. I'll just lower this couple thousand, and then I'm going to go ahead and just add a couple hundred of each tier. You know, more with the higher tiers than with the lower tiers. And just go down the line and add a couple infantry, you know, and some cav. Just soak damage and make your losses a little cheaper for your bigger guys. Now, with this, we would do the same thing, but we would perhaps take off, say, I would probably, depending on how many troops you can march, say 7,500 to 15,000 siege, if you're going to be sending siege into a attack. So with this, I would do your highest siege, and then the next highest siege. So for me, that'd be my T9 siege is my strongest siege, and then my T8s as my next strongest. So as you can see here, I have 14,000, so like 15,000 T9 siege, and then 5,000 T8s. So obviously, yeah, I can march more now, but I'm not going to go ahead and change this yet. But, you know, you don't really need to send a whole lot of siege. Siege, to me, are worthless pieces of crap. They only either soak damage, like infantry, but do not do any damage to troops, where they kill traps. That's it. And if you have siege in the back, they're not going to die because they're behind your bowmen. And you're sending all of this large amount of troops to be able to go kill all those troops. So it's really not necessary to even send a lot of siege. So here, this is my march for doing, say, Portal, or doing the Kingdom threat. So you just go along down the line and you send, you know, a couple thousand, couple hundred of each, depending on the tier. Down south, I'm going to go ahead and mute you just to limit the noise. So you just want to have, you know, a small amount of each tier, and then more of your higher tiers, because those are the ones that are doing all the damage for you. You really don't need much infantry. Your troops aren't going to die. Especially with the Kingdom threat, troops don't die. So don't send a lot of infantry. And, I mean, that's pretty much what your march would look like. Heavy T10s, and getting lighter as you go down. But the true savings come from not sending a lot of infantry. And that's troop formations. We have about 12 minutes until Firelands start. So, for gear, I can talk about that during Firelands, where we don't really need to see much. But I'll go ahead and show Dragon right now, as well as gems I can talk about in Firelands. So I'll show Dragon build. I'm just going to go grab a bottle of water. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and answer any questions that I saw in the chat. So I see Ram shoot for Valors and Firelands. I would definitely go ahead and go for Valors if that's what you want to do, if that's what you really need. It's a great way to get better stats in your for your game. Doss asked me where I go to school. I go to school at Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. It's a flight school in Daytona Beach, Florida. Terrible school, but great for my field. Darth Rage asked me to track dope and zero him, make us all happy. I could happily oblige. And then he asks, so let's say I have 50,000 T9 Bowman. Am I sending T8 Bowman into that mix too? So for you, Darth, you have a couple Valors. You really don't have too much in the way of Valors. You have some decent gear. So I would go ahead and say, yes, it's a possibility you could lose some Bowman. But more than that, look in your battle history and look in, I guess this could apply to anyone. Just look at your battle history and look to see how are your Bowmen affected in combat. So, yeah, 6 Valors, okay. That's right. And so just look in your battle history and look to see, okay, do I have any battles where I'm losing my Bowman? If you're losing Bowman with like your set marches and it's a constant thing where you're losing Bowman, go ahead and send those weaker Bowman in there and get that more of that flow going. And that'll lower the cost of how many wounded you're going to be getting of your high T9s or T8s if the T8s are the highest tier you're having. For Darth Rage, it is T9s of his strongest. But another possible fix for that problem is just simply going to be send more infantry, send more cavalry. If you're sending more infantry and more cavalry to protect your Bowman, you're going to be fine. If you're able to send more troops to soak the damage, your Bowmen are going to be able to sit back and they're going to be able to have more time to kill the enemy. Just think of it as like an actual battle. So, let's go ahead and I'll go ahead and reset my dragon skill so everyone can see it. If my dragon lair wants to work. Okay. I just want to make sure I have all the right numbers for what stats are going back to what. Because once you get above 21, these stats get amazing. Like if you look at my infantry backbone, my current stats, not only is it fully maxed out at the level 21, 62% infantry versus Bowman damage reduction, but also my infantry health goes up to 50%. This is an insane stat. Plus, a level 5 intensity crystal goes a long way. So, now with this, okay, you can't swap your character, but you can pay different amounts of assault points or guardian points and increase the value of the stats of the dragon compared to their previous amount, and it's a great tool for like if you have a higher level dragon like myself, to be able to get just more troop attack, troop defense, and troop health stats from your dragon. If you're going for a gathering build, which it's acceptable now because we're not in a combat scenario. However, I always stay combat ready just in case something happens. That's just a personal, decision. But let's go ahead and let's get into what you should look for in dragon skills. Now, granted, I'm going to go ahead and just remove this to see, what your dragon skill should look like at like a level 40 dragon. So I believe this skill is unlocked at 40, and then level 45, I believe. I might be mistaken. Maybe one is unlocked at 50. Not too sure exactly. But definitely need March of Fury in your attack. And then your infantry versus your bowman versus infantry is a great stat, because if you can kill the enemies' damage takers before they can kill yours damage takers by having a higher level attack skill for bowman versus infantry, then you're going to be at an advantage in the battle to begin with. If you're then over here we have bowman versus cav, again pretty much the same story. And then we're going to the cavalry versus the infantry, and cavalry versus bowman. And then this infantry backbone is one of the guardian skills, so this should be your strongest defense skill. But they just started allowing us to put this into our attack skills, so this greatly changes the game. Also down here we have wounded conversion, which is a great stat, keeps your troops alive longer. And yeah, I believe this is all the stats we have. Bowman versus cav. Okay, so if you look here, this is what my setup would be like if I was a level 40 dragon. You'll see I don't have wounded conversion, and this is simply just a personal decision. I would rather everyone here put your research into your march capacity and then your wounded conversion before doing anything else. Because if you have a solid wounded conversion for research, you could kind of forget this dragon blessing and focus on increasing your stats more to give you more of a bonus in combat. If you have a higher bonus in combat, you won't have to worry about having to take on enemies that are going to be stronger than you and being able to kill you. So if you have more slots, then I would arrange it this way, where we're adding this infantry versus cavalry defense guardian skill, and then wounded conversion all the way in the end. You'll see here I have my 6-star in flaming arrows too, bowman attack versus infantry. And that's because I feel like this is your strongest skill. If you can use your best damage dealers to their best damage takers better than they could do to yours, you're going to have an advantage in the battle. So that's what I would do for attack. Really quickly for defense before Firelands begins in a minute. Again, my best guardian skills are here and here with infantry versus cavalry damage. And then we have the best assault skills as well in here. Now, obviously, you'll see I have a level 1 flaming arrows 1, bowman versus siege. Really, I'm not worried about killing siege. If you have enough troops, then someone that's attacking you, you're going to win the battle. or if you're doing KVK, no one uses siege in KVK. It's it's a negligible skill. So you'll see this. Pretty much try to max out your actual battle skills more than what you're doing for March or your wounded conversion. But when you get to my level, pretty much the only thing that's holding you back is not assault points, but the level of your dragon. So now we're going to go ahead and join Firelands. If you guys want to see anything cool, watch me kill some level 30s. So, I just briefly glanced his power. He's really weak. I can one-shot him. He's 75 mil power. And he has anti-scout. That's smart. Okay. Obviously, you guys saw I didn't put on any stats. So I'm just going to go ahead and march him. And while I'm at it, why not march his troops? But why do that when I could just wait to oh, he doesn't want to fight. So, looks like we have some free tiles. Well, it's really bad that we have two of our own members racing each other to tiles. So, hopefully, yeah, okay. Looks like CB is going to take one for the team on this one. And, just send cavalry to the tiles. You want to be in at least level 2 tiles for Firelands. That'll ensure that you'll have a good enough growth rate. And you pretty much just want to ensure that what you're going to be doing is you're always going to be on tiles. You always want to have tiles. So always make sure that you're never going to run out of tiles. Now, I have enough slots to be able to, looks like I'm going to be on 4 tiles. So that's not a problem. They're asking chords 223, 28. So for CB and Legend Azar, I'm not going to ask you guys to move. I just don't want our area to get too crowded. Looks like someone wants to march my crap, so let them. Aw, how cute. So, yeah, so my goal for doing Firelands is to be able to protect my members and ensure that they'll always have enough slot, like availability to attack people and take tiles. I don't want them to have to worry about any tiles. And I want everyone to stay on tiles. I never want anyone to have to worry about not having any tiles to be on. Looks like no one wants to fight me. It's really disappointing. So, before we go back into the skills, here's a bit of a lighthearted message. Free live camgirl show at Darth Dadith on Insta. So if anyone wants to go add that account, feel free. It was started by a young man with lots of hopes and dreams to one day become the best cam boy. Apparently this advertisement says Cam Girl, but it's Cam Boycer, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, if you guys want to go at him, put on some nice free shows. If anyone has any chords that they need posted, oh, that's cute. This guy wants to attack my tile. Watch this guy just die. Oh, this is going to be hilarious. No one fucks with my members, so you get teleported away. That's just the simple rule. Like, I don't put up with that crap. I mean, he had no troops. I don't care. I don't care that he had any troops. He attacked a member of mine, so you know, you're dead to me. That's how I put it. So now that everything's set, if anyone has anything, anyone that they need to be attacked, just post it in Alliance chat for TBD members, and let's continue on with our discussion. So yeah, with the dragon, if you're going to be having a combat dragon, you want it to be brutal. Make sure that your character is brutal, and that you want to have as many points and as many intensity crystals into attack. If you're doing attack, there is no point in having any skills in your monster or your gathering. I put my intensity crystals into defense because I can afford it. I have all 5s, so if you're going for intensity crystals, go for 3s. Get all of your attack and all of your good defense skills to 3s, 3 stars. That is, and then once you have all that done, start doing your best skills at 4. Once you have your best skills at 4, do the rest of your attack to 4. Or if you're going to be mainly on defense, do all of your defense to 4. Now, if you see, most of my defense here is attack skills. I only have 2 actual defense skills in my defense. So make sure you do all that prior. I don't really talk too much, so doing the stream I'm just getting a little dried out. So I'm just gonna keep going here. Now let's go into our gear. So for gear, again, this comes back to what type of tier spender are you? If you're gonna be one of those free players, maybe you don't even put any effort into your gear at all, you should at least have full purple 16s. But really, at this point in the game, I preach this a lot to my members. You need to have purple 21s. Purple 21s will unlock your full gemstone slots. Or if you want to do this, you can go this route as well. Leather hats, they're amazing. I really strongly recommend this for any player of all levels. It's great. It's a great item. But I'm sure that's just for daily points. I really hope. But so as far as what we're doing with gear is you want to be able to have 21s. So 21s and 16s might not have very different stats, differences, because up until purple, there's options for level 11, level 16, and level 21. Level 21 gives you a full gemstone ability slot. So with the full gemstone ability slot, what you'll be able to do is you'll be able to take whatever gemstone you want and be able to put it in there. Obviously, gemstone that you want, I'm going to go over what you want. So it's just a matter of the fact that if you have the 21s, you're going to be able to have the amount of gemstones that you could have if you have Deathseeker. So it's going to be the same with that. But if you have 16s, you're not going to be able to have the same amount of gemstones, and it's going to put you at a disadvantage right off the bat. So, with that being said, CB, enjoy. Let's go ahead and take a look at the battle report. Not too bad. Yeah, we'll have some better battle reports to share later on in the game, but just looking at the the round rankings, we do have the strongest player in the game playing in this. Firelands. So I'm gonna go ahead and find him for us to just gaze at his beautiful castle while I continue on this talk about what it is with the game. So with gear. So with gear, realistically, you want at least purple 21s. I think that's all that's really required for the, in order to be somewhat competitive. Now, if you're going to, at least with your tier of players, again, it all goes back to the tier of players of you're not going to be able to compete with a Stronghold 35 named Yoon with full Deathseeker +5 if you're not spending money. So there really is no point in trying to compete with them. It's just going to cost you way too much money, and it's just not worth your time, honestly. So with this, it's really just a matter of, okay, what is, the best route for me to take in order to be able to have a good account with good stats that I could be, a good competitor in Kill Event. So with this, what you want to be able to do is you want to be able to figure out what you're willing to spend and what you can get with the amount that you're going to be spending. So as far as this goes, what this means for you is if you want to spend some money and you want to be able to get some equipment packages, or you want to be able to use Merlin's Trials to get some materials like the sapphires and the diamonds, and just looking here, let's look at the Lord. If you want to be able to get all like the sapphires and amethysts and your steel diamonds and all this good stuff, I wouldn't go and buy the basic materials from Merlin's Trials. It's not worth it value wise, and this is also a good way to make gold. This is your gold income, is making equipment and then selling it. You just need to do the research, figure out what you can make, what it's selling for realistically, at the bottom price, or figure out how much it's going to cost you to make it compared to how much you can sell it for, and that can really determine how much you're going to be making on the equipment. So, it's a good idea to buy some amethysts or some sapphires or a diamond if you need it, and also buying if you need an equipment package, if you want to spend the money for that, or if you just want to grind it, keep killing dragons. It's a great way to be able to get what you need for the game as far as like equipment wise. And if you can go for some orange 21s, I'm going to be honest with you right now. There are some orange 21s that are not worth the purchase over a purple 21. So save your money, and I could go into detail about which ones those would be. So I am going into the wrong room. That's not right. Let's circle back and let's go over to the range, the forge. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. So you want to go to your blacksmith and you want to look at, okay, let's look at the Galantine. So the Galantine adds siege damage over a purple 21. Actually, it does not. What does it add? It has cav attack, bow attack, siege attack, bow damage. So it's adding bowman damage. Bowman damage is a great skill. Galantine 21 orange over purple 21 Galantine. I would strongly recommend going for the orange. If you go to the hammer and you look at the same thing, let's look at the orange one. This is what it has. What is it gaining? It's gaining bowman damage received. Is that worth it? Without a doubt, no. Do not buy the orange 21 Helm of Destruction, in my opinion. So if you want a better helmet, now we're going to be looking at, okay, can I afford 200,000 gold in the special materials as listed down here for a Warmonger helmet? And now we need to look at, okay, what am I gaining now? You're gaining 9% army damage over purple 21s. Can you justify 200,000 gold cost for this? And if your answer is yes, then go for it. If you're asking, well, how am I going to be able to get this, the gold for this? Alright, I'm going to be taking a bit of a break to go find more tiles. And with that last conversation, if you're going to be able to get the tiles, get the gold for it, a great way to get the gold is buying the Valor packs and then using your gold from the Valors to be able to buy your equipment. So that's a great way, but then you also have to think, okay, well, now how am I going to be able to get my scrolls? And if that's something that you're thinking about, well, one thing that you need to take into consideration is that you're going to have to spend another 200 gold in order to buy it. So it's going to money. So it's going to cost $200 just to be able to buy the scroll. So you have to take that into consideration if you're willing to go for that. Now, do you want to go for Dragon Tamer over Warmonger? In my opinion, no. It's about plus 1.5 Warmonger. That's what Dragon Tamer is. So with what I'm thinking is, if you're trying to beat other people in your tier, you know, yes, you'll be at an advantage, but you'll only be at an advantage in your tier if you have your Valors done, if you're going for Deathseeker. So then the topic goes back to, let's continue on and let's look at the other pieces of gear and what you can buy, and, you know, looking at armor and saying, okay, is the orange 21 justifiable over the purple 21? So this is what we have for orange, and what are we losing with purple? Looks like all we're losing is Siege damage received. Is that worth it? In my opinion, no. So for armor, go with the Dragon Plate 21. Do you want to go for the Warmonger armor? Yes, you do. Infantry damage received, that's a great, amazing thing to have. It's also one of the most expensive Warmonger pieces. Can you get this stat other places? Yes, you can. You could get the infantry damage received as part of your wall prestige. So I would strongly recommend that. Now, another thing that we want to talk about is going down the line, going to Warmonger boots. Now we're gaining wounded conversion. You saw I didn't have wounded conversion as a stat for my dragon because I'm getting so many higher stats from my dragon having other stats instead of wounded conversion that I decided not to put it in. So if you're looking at purple greaves, consider getting Warmonger boots. It's 200,000 gold, so you have to consider, okay, am I the tier spender that's going to want to buy this? If you answer yes, go for it. If you answer no, well then let's go back and let's look at the orange 21 compared to the purple 21. Both of these you could do for relatively cheap. Purple 21 greaves you should have by now if you're going completely free from spending on equipment. And it looks like what you're gaining with the orange dragon protectors is going to be one of these three. I really didn't pay enough attention to figure out which one it is, but just by looking at those three stats, that's an amazing stat on top of the purple Galentine. So I'm going to say right now that I would go with the orange dragon protectors over the purples. Now for Deathseeker, I do have an extra scroll, sadly. Warmonger necklace, it's a good piece. It's one of the cheapest. It's only 100,000 gold. So maybe this is a little more, you know, if you're in between saying, oh, well, I do want Warmonger, but I can only get one piece if I spend 200,000 gold. But if I spend 200,000 gold on two pieces of Warmonger, I do that. Well, now we're talking because you're going to gain a 2-piece set bonus and an additional troop defense. Plus, your other piece that you're going to be buying is the ring, which will give you wounded conversion. So let's look for the other types of spenders at the orange 21 compared to the purple 21. So we have siege health, not that good. Army damage, that's good. Army damage received, that's another great stat. Troop health, that's a good stat. Bowman damage received, that is terrible. And what we're gaining is we're going to be gaining army damage received. And now the stat for this compared to what you're gaining in Prestige, the cost of doing this compared to Prestige, I'm going to recommend doing that orange 21 amulet over the purple 21. So that's that. Moving on to ring. Again, we're getting the wounded conversion. It's only 4%, but that's still a good number. You know, it's 4% more troops that you're going to keep alive than you would before. So when you're sending 200,000 troops, you know, it's a good amount. It adds up. Ring, these are all amazing stats. Every single one of these. Now, what are we getting from this ring? We're getting troop defense, 5%. That's another stat that's really good. Compared to what you're getting with Prestige, again, I'm going to go ahead and say start shooting for that ring, orange 21. So, you know, you're going to be saving some money on the more expensive pieces. Like with the helmet and armor, I believe those were the only two where I said you want to actually stick with the purple 21s. So as far as that, just go ahead and go ahead and stick with those purples in those situations. Moving down the line, let's go to gems. Gems, pretty easy to talk about. Valors are great. The way I go about Valors is you want to be able to have, when you go for Valors, you're not going to get them all at once. You're going to be able to buy one at a time, maybe a couple at a time. So for your first 2 Valors, go attack. For your 3rd Valor, go defense. For your 4th Valor, go another attack. So you're going to have 3 attacks, 1 defense, and that's it. And then after those 4, I'm going to say go ahead and get 1 health Valor. You don't want to neglect health. Health is how long your troops are going to live. Defense is how hard is it going to be for the enemy to kill your troop, or how much they can resist the damage done to them. So once you get those Valors, you're going to have 5 Valors at that point with 3 attack, 1 defense, 1 health. From there, add another defense, then finish off your attacks. Then from there, alternate between your defense and the health until you finish up all of those. So once you have full Valor gemstones. Then from there, obviously you want conquests. Conquests can become pretty much an entire, at level 5, they're an entire Dragon Blade. Then once you enhance them, it's like having a Dragon Blade and a half. So that's just amazing. Conquests are amazing. They're hard to get. They're rare. But go for them. Then, once you have all these refining stones and other gems, you're going to want to get your Valor 5s, Valor 6s. Do attack first because you only have 4 of those compared to having 6 defense and 6 health. But if you have a conquest, do the conquest before you do the attacks. Then we're going to go into everyone else that's not going for your Valors. So, Ambu just asked, can I explain health first defense? So, health first defense, I'll go more into that. So, really, you can't neglect one. Because if you have a high defense and a low health, what's going to happen is your troops are going to die quicker, because while your troops can resist the damage being done to them, they're not going to have a high HP. So just imagine you're playing, I don't know, just a random video game, and your player has a high HP. If he has a low health, he has a low HP, but he's wearing a ton of armor. So as soon as the person that's attacking you gets through your armor, you're going to die relatively quickly. Whereas if you have low defense and high HP, they can attack you, and they're going to be doing a lot of damage to you, but it might take them a little longer to actually have you killed. So what you want to do is you want to have an even mix, so that not only is it going to be kind of hard for them to kill you, to get through your armor, you want it to be hard for them to actually kill you. So sorry, I'm just trying to kill someone else. I love doing it. It's beautiful. It's fun. So as far as defense and health, you don't want to neglect one. It's kind of hard to explain, but they go hand in hand. You want them to go up evenly. Defense more so than health to begin with. But in the end, they'll be equal. Just don't neglect health. It's easy to neglect it, so don't. Now, for anyone else, you're going to have attack gemstones. It's going to be so easy to find all these infantry attacks. I want you to take all of these and throw them into a damn trash can. This air gem right here is what you want for your attacks. So you have 4 attack slots, and right now I only have 2 bowman attacks. So what I'm going to do is I would go ahead and I'm going to take all of these trash cans of gemstones called infantry attacks, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put them all into my bowman attack gems. So bowman attack gems are your best attack gems, but you also, again, just like with defense and health, you don't want to neglect the other guy. Cavalry also do attack, so don't neglect them, and I would suggest you do one cav gemstone for attack. So you'll have like 3 bowman attacks and 1 cav attack, and this is assuming you have 0 valors. So you want to, obviously the first couple levels are relatively cheap, but at this point you're just getting rid of those trash gemstones that you don't really use. Then from here, you'll see, okay, we're going into defense. I have a ton of these bowman defense gems. I have a ton of them because they're trash and they're easy to get. So again, just like the infantry attack, what I really want is this guy. These guys, the infantry, defense, and health gems. Infantry gems are what you want for defense and health. So for this, I want to go ahead and I want to get rid of all of these guys. So you may as well just put all of these defense for bowmen and health for bowmen into your infantry, defense, and health gems. Now, again, just like with defense and health, how I talked about earlier, don't forget the other guy. You want to have quite a good amount of cavalry. So you see I have 4 here. And I have 4 defense gemstones for cavalry, and there's 6 slots. So with this, I would suggest doing 4 infantry and then 2 cavalry, and that's both for defense and health. So for your defense gemstones, have 4 infantry defense gems and then 2 infantry defense gems. Again, bring these up evenly. If you take an infantry defense from 1 to 2, I would recommend taking one of your cavalry from 1 to 2. It really is not going to be it's not that expensive to take them to level 2 or level 3. So try to bring all of your gems to level 3 that you're going to be using. Your infantry, defense and health, your cavalry, defense and health, and then your 1 attack for cavalry, and then your bowman attacks. I'm going to stop here and see if anyone has any questions with gear-wise or with the gemstones, and just take a short break. So I really screwed this up, and I managed to get all of my tiles down to 0 without finding a single spot to replace them. Another thing that you need to do is refresh it, so just leave the page and come back. Oh, that's cool. So, oh, come on, man. Come on. Ooh, this is nice. This is very nice. I literally only have one stat that's above him by 8%. And then my dragon is just fucking beautiful compared to him not having a dragon. Oh, that'll be fun to eat. And so will that. So, I see some going on. Darth is trying to talk shit, saying how he bought his 5 Valors for $300, and I managed to buy my first 5 Valors for I think $1,000 when they first came out. I got really lucky and got like I think 4, and then I got my next 0 for about $2,000 immediately after that, and then I think I spent another probably $3,000 after that just to finish off the Valors. And then I don't even want to talk about how much it cost to be able to get those Valors to level 6. It's insane. Now, Coda, are you asking gold as in orange Armor of Fury? Because they don't make a Warmonger Armor of Fury. And I'm just going to go ahead and say right now that I'm pretty sure oh my god, why is this guy like literally fully loaded? Oh, that's going to hurt. I don't even know where that is. Yikes. And that's with my dragon too, and it's almost dead. Oh well. Oh, speed it up. Yeah, daddy. Give it to me, daddy. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So, with Armor of Fury, that's level 16, I believe. So I'm going to go ahead and just straight up tell you right now. Again, with the gemstones, don't do level 16. No matter what color it is. Looking at it here, it's only... Oh, it's level 21. My bad. But it is City Army Defense, which only helps you when you're actually defending. It doesn't help you when you're attacking. Bowman damage received is a terrible stat. Siege damage received, who cares about siege? So you're really only looking at infantry damage received and cavalry damage received. And when you look at the purple 21 for that, you have the cav damage received and you have the infantry health. So it's a similar stat. It's a little different. So damage received is what it's going to take, like the total amount of damage that what they're doing to your attack, and then they're just going to remove that. So that's an amazing statistic. I'm not really too sure on like the mathematical sense behind it, but damage received is a great stat to be able to work on. However, the other stats in that piece of gear just does not make me want you to have it or anyone. Why do these people keep attacking me? Alright, we're going to have to relocate, as this is no longer working out for us anymore. So I'm going to choose a spot, and then everyone can follow me. So I'm going to 155, 450. With 0 looking at what kind of area I'm in. Just completely disregarding everything in life. Hey, I sent only Cav and he's recalling his troops. That's nice of him. So Darth Dadith. Is that going to be Skitty or is that Annika? Alright, well, I'm going to continue on our discussion into our heroes. Heroes are a good way to gain some extra stats. Really expensive, really time consuming. There's some good ways to get it. Obviously, the free rolling, your master rolls. You could save up your master rolls if you're impatient. I'm a very impatient person, as you can tell by the amount of money I've spent on video game. Let's not go into that. But yeah, so now this was a free hero. I submitted a picture and They gave me an absurd amount of fragments for submitting a picture of me sitting in an airplane playing King of Avalon. So Sir Agravain is a great character. If you're going to level up characters, so there's different tiers. Obviously, tier 1 spender, you want to go for the purples. There's a lot more stars that are involved with this. And as well as that, on top of that, they just give you a higher statistic gain for each star that you add onto it. Now, if you're going to be like the spending a couple $100 or so a month, or maybe a couple like $20 a month, go for the blues, maybe the purples. I've seen a lot of players, like high level, like 30s in our kingdom, have Sir Griflet at 4 stars. So at 4 stars, he's better than pretty much anyone else. Sir Bedivere, I would definitely go to him. However, this game has fucked me and fucked me and fucked me over so many times, and they've just given me Bedivere after almost a year of playing, and probably $1,000 or $2,000 into hero bundles. So a ton of rolls in the master roll, and still no Sir Bedivere. Every other character, every other duplicate, just no Sir Bedivere. And I finally got it, so I'm happy, but it's too late to start working on it. So I'm going to be working on Sir Griflet slowly. And I already have Sir Balin, but looking at 3 stars, that's a waste of a stat. So I'm going to have to gain 80 fragments just to bypass a terrible stat, just to get to that troop defense 18%. Is it worth it? In my opinion, no. Should I stop on Balin right now? Yes. Am I going to stop on him? Honestly, I don't know. But for anyone else playing this game, if you're not a 30, you're not spending anything on like hero packs, if you don't want that Sir Griflet at 4 stars, and you want to do something like over time and you're not gaining the Sir Griflet from the Merlin Trials because they'll give you a ton of good fragments, go for all the green combat heroes, and almost pretty much all the green heroes in general. Sir Colgravens at 3 stars. I mean, it's pretty easy to get to 3 stars. These are good stats. Bowman health is not good, but infantry defense is, and cavalry health is. So I would go for him if you're not going for Griflet, because Griflet, I mean, all the stars for Griflet are really good. His base stat for the level isn't. Master of Arms, again, if you're going to be top tier spender, you're looking at Agravain or Lamorak. Besides that, if you're not doing either of those, I would say for sure you are going with Caradoc. He's a great hero. A lot of people have him at 3 stars, and all of these statistics are really good to have him. Master of War, Sir Tor is really good. Again, if you're not spending anything, I'm going to say Sir Brunor, but I am not a trap guy. As you can tell, I already lost all my traps, and I don't like redoing them. Sir Pellinor is pretty much the same thing as Sir Brunor. Sir Lionel, he's really good at 5 stars. 2 and 3 stars are really good, but again, it's really expensive to get him there. Sir Tor, he's really good. If you can get him to 2 stars, you're doing fantastic. You can stop with that, pretty much. Master Strategy, I have 4 stars for Lady Isabel, so I get that march capacity boost. Malagant at 3 stars for that reinforcement capacity. Now, reinforcement capacity, that's really good if you want to be playing on the defense. So, again, if you're wondering what's better, stats or your troop tier, just read this statement. Killer T said 300% stats on T5s. Can you take him on? Shortly replied by, I believe, a stronghold 26. He killed me. That's just the power of stats. Stats are everything. I don't care how many troops you have. I killed a ton of those AVG shit bags and anyone else that just, screwed us over in this game with one march. And that's all it takes. One march of T8s and a ton of good gear. Again, I was spending a lot of money and it was really expensive to upkeep. My playing style, when Swag and I just did some guerrilla warfare, but it's really all about stats. I don't care what you want to say. Stats are everything in this game. And it's just as simple as that. You're not going to be able to win a defense with only one march of troop, but if you want to focus on attacking, it's the way to go. Again, I'm going to say for Master of Strategy, get Maligan to 3 stars for your reinforcement capacity and hospital capacity. Put some levels in Lady Isabel for your training capacity. Unless you plan on spending, like tier 1 spender, go for Lady Isabel 4 stars if you're going to spend. If not, stick with Maligan. Focus on your other heroes. Now for High Constable, honestly, I don't really do this. Like Sir Gareth, those are great. All great stats. I'm production. Anything that says production is bad. So food production, that's bad. Iron production, that's bad. It's all about gathering speed. Because, I'll show you. I only have 2 wood farms and like 2 or 4 food farms in my city. Everything else comes from items for food and wood and gathering for iron and silver. I have a lot of iron and gathering mines, but they do me nothing. What you need to do is have a max amount of hospitals and training tents, because that's what matters in your city. Keeper of the Seal, Sir Dinadan, if you're going to get boosted, as I said earlier in my stream, troop load is really important. Trading capacity is also extremely helpful, so Sir Dinadan is the way to go. Land the White, that's really good if you're going to be able to afford that. I can't. I got all those fragments for free. Well, free's all relative, I guess. Lady Saris, again, production is not good. Storage protection is only going to do you so good. So you're only really looking at a gain from a 4-star. So it's not worth it when you could be putting all that focus and fragments into your combat heroes. So again, Sir Dinadan if you're going to be getting boosted. Master Herald, Lady Rona, she's giving you that healing speed. That's really good. Lately I've been focusing on Morgius. I'm trying to get her to 5 stars for that 60% troop training speed. Am I ever going to get there? The answer is never. So don't worry about it. Sir Garrus, he's also pretty good, but he's got the exact same things as Lady Rona. All he gains me is that Lord Stamina Recovery, which is pretty good since you can no longer buy stamina. Going on to High Steward. Again, this is all about construction gear and your research gems. So is it really too important to put anything in this? Not really. So that pretty much covers this. If anyone has any questions, I will allow them to ask them now while I send more troops out. There's only 4 minutes left, so you just need to make sure you get on tiles. I'm just gonna comment, why do I have to continually talk to the moderator? And there's an auto moderator continually flagging everyone's comments because there's too many explicitives in the Twitch. So I'm allowing it. Just gonna put it out there. That's cute, dude. Attacked me with your T10s. Lost like 280,000 power. I've just got to get one good march in, so I'm just going to attack this guy for the shits and giggles. Alright, and I want to continue on to research and prestige. Research, I was talking about that earlier on. You know, that's really just a good thing if you're like borderline stats and you've got pretty much everything else maxed out for your type of tier that you're in. So if you've got the gemstones and the gear all batted down and you know you're not really pushing your stronghold level at the moment, I would really suggest you get some research gems. Go for the 3s. It's $100, but it's going to significantly reduce the cost. It's still going to be expensive. You could still do some combat too. That gets some really good stats. It gets steeper in price definitely the further down the road you go. I haven't gone that far honestly, but that's relative for me. What's expensive resource wise, but definitely you need the 5 March slots. So get your 4 March slots that are base, and always have your VIP activated if you can afford that 4,000 gold. We talked about some ways to generate gold for your account, so I really recommend that you do that. That you keep it activated. Buy it for the 30 days. That's the cheapest way to get it done, and that'll give you 5 March slots. It will significantly increase the amount that you can gather for your research. And research, if you go into combat 2, you should be able to finish your research Merlin trials, and that will give you amazing speed ups. If anyone's asking how I went up 80 mil power one day to like when I went from I believe it was like 260 mil or something like that, 280 mil up to like where I'm at now, that was because I got like 4,000 hours of speed ups, 3-hour speed ups, 4,000 3-hour speed ups from jumping up really high in the research trials when they came out with Combat 2 research. So that's how I was able to get it. So looks like we are done with Firelands. Hopefully I got on the top 50. If not, it's okay. I have way too many messages. I just need to clean that out. I can do that later on, but Firelands rewards. 52. I was literally 2 ranks away from getting being able to get one of those valors or different type of reward. It's okay. I'm not really worried about my own ranking, but the ranking of the allies that I go with. So I don't think they fared too well. That's probably on me because of the distraction of doing Twitch at the same time. But hopefully next time, if they keep this around, then it'll be better. So research, especially with Merlin's Trials, it's great. Prestige is another great tool, but if just looking at my Prestige, it's like $1,000. Thousand. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. It's $100 bundle, pretty much, to go up another level wherever I'm at. And it's honestly just not a large enough reward to justify spending the money. Like 2% in troop defense for 1,000 banners. Why would I want to spend that? It's good up to a certain level to work on. A lot of people focused on that when the Valor drops were pretty much 0. So like if you look at Yoon and Gruzo, they have amazing prestige because at first they didn't really do Valors, but then something clicked in them and they both got their shit together and now they're both just beasts. So I mean, prestige, definitely what you want to focus on would be your wall with your infantry damage received, your watchtower with bowman damage. Then you have your troop buildings. Definitely focus on your infantry and your cavalry. And then you also have your university, and that's going to be your troop attack. You have, let's see, Dragon Lair is troop defense. That's a good stat. You have your stronghold, which is troop attack, defense, and health all in one, but they give you really small increases at a really high cost. So it's okay to do it a little bit. Army damage is amazing. Amazing stat. It's actually pretty cheap, but I don't think that the way that they do it, it's cheaper than the others. Storehouse and army damage received, that's a really good stat as well. Ignore your forge, ignore your siege. Embassy, I believe this is a good stat, cavalry damage. Then you also have the wishing well, which corresponds with your embassy, and that will give you cavalry damage received. Trading post is bowman damage received, which again I said is a pretty useless stat, but it's cheap, so just like with your forge, do a couple levels. And then your Hall of War is troop health, and that's a really good stat as well. That covers pretty much prestige. If anyone has any questions, I think this is going to wrap up the Twitch for tonight. I will go ahead and we'll have another Twitch maybe next week. Or maybe this weekend if people want it be done. We could go into different setups for Dragon Spirit and any other questions like how to profit gold more thoroughly. For heroes, obviously you have the Alchemist Quarter. If you haven't figured this out, you really need to. Go get your fragments that you need, refresh it. If you don't want to spend gold, that's fine. Just get what you need. If you, I really don't use it for any other items, but that's just, my needs. You also have the marketplaces, which is great for getting other items. Just do some exploring. If you ever have any questions, don't hesitate to ask me. I'd be more than happy to help. Lately, I haven't been on as much as I have in the past, but that's mainly just me not farming. I'll come online, I'll answer some questions, I'll do the events, and I'll be there, for the Alliance in the Kingdom. But I'll be more active now. Also, the subscription's really good. Nice, good items. I actually just unsubscribed to it just because I don't want to spend any more money on this. But yeah, just, you know, our kingdom's reached a point where there's no longer a need to have really strong members to defend us. We've gotten rid of all of our Hitlers and Fidel Castros in this kingdom. My only goal now is to prevent Yoon or Bibi or Gruzo or Jojo from trying to be the next. And that's all I want. So as long as we keep the kingdom the way it is now, I'll be happy. And everything will be happy. Alright, if anyone has any other questions, this will conclude everything. So, just message me in-game or online or in Discord. I can post a link if anyone wants to join the Discord channel. So, I hope everyone enjoyed this. And I will figure out how I want to be able to post this recording if anyone wants to be able to watch it later. It is a 3-hour video though, so just warning you now, this is a very long Star Wars, lots of interesting turns, you never know when it's going to end, and it just keeps you running around. So, good night everyone.